Hello and a warm welcome to Federal special program Capital Beat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi filed his nomination today from Varanasi, from where he's seeking a third term as a Lok Sabha MP. Now, if you have seen since 2014, Arvind Kejriwal tried to give a fight to Narendra Modi in 2014, but after that, Varanasi almost looks uncontested. With each passing election, the nomination filing ceremony of Prime Minister Narendra Modi is becoming more and more grandiose. And today there were reports that the comedian Shyam Rangeela was also trying to put up a fight against Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He tried to file a nomination, but he was disallowed from doing that. So, why did this happen? And is there a target which BJP apparently has set for Prime Minister Narendra Modi that he has to win by a huge margin? Is Varanasi really having an election? Does it not look like almost like a presidential form of election? All this and much more we'll try and discuss on our special panel, which has just joined us. I'm joined by Mr. Atul Chandra, who's a very senior journalist, political commentator, who's been a resident editor with the Times of India, Lucknow. So thank you so much for joining. Shahira Naeem is also a senior journalist and political commentator who joins us. And we have Siddharth Sharma, who is a political commentator and an independent analyst. He also joins us. Thank you so much, Siddharth. I'll begin with Atul Chandra. That Mr. Chandra, today Shyam Rangeela was not allowed to file his nomination. He was saying, and he had put out a tweet saying that, this is not democracy where you cannot file a nomination. And why is Prime Minister Narendra Modi scared of people filing their nomination against him? So what do you think is the reason why Shyam Rangeela was not allowed to file his nomination today?
See, one reason is very obvious, and that is BJP and Modi both think that there is nobody in the country uh, who can actually, who should try and contest elections against Narendra Modi, because he is supposed to be, now he's supposed to be the tallest of all leaders. And for that stature to remain, even a handful of votes polled by a rival would be seen as some kind of an embarrassment to the BJP and Narendra Modi, which is why they do not want anybody worth the name, worth his salt, to contest or oppose Narendra Modi in elections. One. Second reason is that BJP is actually eyeing a victory margin for Narendra Modi of about 7 lakhs. This is from some WhatsApp circles that I've got come to know. So, margin of victory 7 lakhs would, place Narendra Modi at the highest level, because I don't think any other leader, including Indira Gandhi or Rajiv Gandhi, ever won by that margin. So he will be in the stratosphere after that.
So are you saying, Mr. Chandra, that this probably could be the reason that BJP has set a target of 7 lakh margin victory, and probably that could be the reason why others have been disallowed from filing the nomination?
That is my conjecture, you can say. That is my point of view, because if that is the victory margin they are eyeing, then they do not want anybody to cut into votes of Narendra Modi. And the other thing is that his stature will have to remain undisputed. As a leader who has won by that big a margin, and as a leader who does not brook any opposition, any challenge. There's no challenge to Narendra Modi in Varanasi, but even the smallest of challenge is not permissible.
Right. So, Siddhartha, I'll come to you that the smallest of challenge is not acceptable to Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Varanasi, as what Mr. Atul Chandra read. How would you read this? I mean, why are people being disallowed from filing the nomination? And do you think that this could be the reason?
Coming to the serious point here, I think we'll have to understand the entire BJP's ecosystem. When I say ecosystem, it doesn't mean only BJP's workers or BJP's leaders. There are millions of people who vote for BJP also. There is a BJP ecosystem. For BJP ecosystem, it sees India. I'm saying it from a BJP ecosystem's perspective. Okay, Nilu, it's not that I subscribe to that view. BJP ecosystem essentially sees India as a very unruly classroom in which it feels that the teacher's job is not to teach the children, but rather to control the children. So that is the BJP's ecosystem's thought process about India, because we all know in any democracy, once you have a democracy in place, there will be a little bit of chaos, because in democracy it entails free speech. Any democracy entails freedom of expression. So when there is freedom of speech, when there is freedom of expression, that obviously translates into a little bit of chaos. So BJP ecosystem thinks that the class teacher, in the classroom called India, is very chaotic, and it needs a teacher who does not need to teach anything to the children, but the teacher's first job is to control the children, discipline the children. That is why I'll give you, starting with one or two very important examples. This election, BJP's slogan is 400 par. Now, I cannot understand that a team whose victory target itself is 272, why are you targeting 400? How can you get 400? In a cricket match, if the target is 272, at 272, BJP forms a government. So a government which can be formed at 272, why do you need 400? Essentially, that means that BJP essentially sees India as an unruly classroom, and it wants a strict disciplinarian. That is the BJP ecosystem's mindset. I'll come to the second point. A few weeks or a few months ago, something happened in Chandigarh. There was a voting in the Chandigarh municipality, and a BJP guy who was the presiding officer tried to get 7 or 8 votes, and somehow or the other tried to make the BJP come into power in the Delhi Chandigarh municipality, which of course the Supreme Court intervened and uh, uh, made all the rights wrong. So again, that shows that for BJP, somehow or the other, there is something called as a process, and then there is something called as a product. To achieve a product, you have to go through a process. In democracy, to achieve the product called power, you have to go through a process called election. For BJP, processes are very not important. The end product is important. So as far as you keep winning elections, by hook or crook, if you win Chandigarh, if you are in power, that is enough. Third example, I will give you the example of Surat. In this Lok Sabha elections itself, it is such a paradox that the Prime Minister and the entire BJP ecosystem and all of us also come out and say that people have to come out and vote more. The voting percentages have come down this time because of summer or XYZ factors. Even the Prime Minister is on record asking people to come out and vote. And surprisingly, BJP has ensured that in a constituency called Surat, which is in Gujarat, which is BJP's citadel, BJP ensured that nobody stands from Surat. So if I am a citizen of Surat, I am not part of this Lok Sabha elections, and already I am not going to vote, but yet I will have a member of parliament from my constituency. Again, that goes to show that the BJP is not very much concerned about the process, it only wants the end product. Third thing, just a few days ago, there was a huge, actually, there is a cat amongst the pigeon right now within the BJP, because the BJP ensured that people like Murli Manohar Joshi, LK Advani, etc., were disposed of in 2014 and sent to the Margdarshak Mandal on a rule called 75 years. Now that 75 years, because of that rule, they ensured that stalwarts of BJP like Mr. Advani, Murli Manohar Joshi, etc., got sidelined and they are no more part of BJP. But would that same rule apply to Mr. Modi 1 year later? The BJP right now, there is a cat amongst the pigeon amongst entire BJP. Again, comes back to say that BJP doesn't see democratic process as important. BJP's ecosystem, it wants to somehow get into directly power. The process is not important for them.
Shaira, I'll come to you now. How would you look at the contest in Varanasi? When we were speaking to each morning, you mentioned an important point where you said that there is no election in Varanasi. And how would you really see the contest where you actually have no one apart from Prime Minister Narendra Modi? And what Atul mentioned initially, that probably BJP has set a huge victory target of 7 lakhs, apparently, as what the WhatsApp messages are saying, that we have to make Prime Minister win with a margin of 7 lakh votes. So what would you really say to this contest in Varanasi?
In 2014, when the first time when Narendra Modi had contested from Varanasi, when he said that Ganga Mati ne bulaya hai and all that, uh, opposite him was another stalwart called Arvind Kejriwal, and there was a fight, and it was a very interesting fight. No wonder uh, Mr. Modi managed to win, but at least there were two people who were of equal weight and they were fighting. It was visible, and they were the campaign. Both the campaigns were very strong, and it was like that. In 2019, it was a different kind of election. 2019 was a Pulwama election. There was no election as such. It was fought in the name of Pulwama, and the issues and the candidates, they really didn't matter. Now we come to the third election, and as we see, uh, this election is some kind of an election because they are local issues have come up, and they are creating a lot of they're giving a lot of tough times to the sitting candidates because the electorate is asking questions about development and all that. Now, in this period, in Varanasi, there has been a huge unrest because in the name of beautification, they have demolished many mandirs, and a lot of roads have been widened. So that ancient city, which had a charm of its own because and it was known for its narrow lanes and a kind of people used to visit it not because of its beauty, but because of sheer faith and astha. So, in the intervening years, there has been beautification of Banaras, for which a lot of the common people have to pay the cost, and there has been unrest. In fact, there was a sort of uh, organized protest also of a group of citizens, but then pandemic came, and then everything was in the background, and whatever beautification had to happen has happened, and uh, so many mandirs have been demolished, mosques have been demolished, and people have lost their livelihood because people who lived off these mandirs also lost their livelihoods, and there is a discontent. So maybe these issues could have been taken up during the campaign to uh, question the the candidate, that is Narendra Modi, about this model of development where people's livelihoods have been taken away and so many mandirs have been demolished. But now the stage has been set where nothing of this sort is going to happen. It's so grand. It's so grand. The road show yesterday, and then today, the manner in which the narrative has been set, and people claiming that all the leading faces of the NDA being present. It's such a grand event. So I wonder how much of the local issues, they will be, they will just go under the carpet. Nobody will be really able to voice them in the face of this huge grandeur which has been created in front of the people saw it in the media, people seeing it everywhere. Then he's on the spree of interviews being given. That is also a very one side. It's not a level playing field. If one candidate is allowed prime time over the national media where he explains his views, the others are just not there. So and nobody's the election commission, who should be ensuring a level playing field, giving equal time to all candidates. is conspicuously missing. So I wonder if it is a contest at all. I wonder if it is a contest at all.
Right. So you're saying that it's not a contest at all. Now, there were a lot of NDA allies who were present. Atul, if I may come to you, why do you think Prime Minister Narendra Modi wanted the NDA allies today by his side, while he filed the nomination? Yes, Atul?
There is an apparent fear. There is an apparent fear in the BJP that just in case they fall short of numbers, the allies may uh, flee away. The allies may leave the BJP. So they want to ensure that everybody, by his presence, sends out a message that they will be there with the BJP even after the results. That's, of course, for us to interpret whether they will eventually hang out with the BJP or move away from the BJP. We'll get to know later, depending on what the results are. But to my mind, that is the reason why they want to be doubly sure that the allies are with them.
All right. So you're saying that he wants to be doubly sure that the allies are with him. But Siddharth, if I may come to you, in what way do you think that Varanasi is becoming more and more central for Modi's politics, given the fact that it's like another Ayodhya? It's another holy town which he has nurtured, which he has developed, and which he brags about. The development of Varanasi is there in all his manifestos, in BJP's talking points that look at the way, the kind of development which has happened in Varanasi. But why do you think that even in the third term, when Prime Minister is hoping to return back for the third time, why do you think that Varanasi is becoming more and more central towards his persona as a leader, as a Prime Minister, and also as someone from BJP?
Uh, I have a bit of a difference of opinion here. I don't think he's targeting, Mr. Modi is targeting Varanasi. He is a prime minister, and whichever constituency he chooses, it will be covered saturation. There will be saturation coverage. So, incidentally, it is Varanasi. He has been fighting there for the last 2 times, so he cannot change it now. Varanasi is just incidental here. His being the prime minister and his showing of strength is more important. And I think the senior speaker before me, I completely agree with him that this time he is ensuring that his other NDA allies like Mr. Chandrababu Naidu are also seen with him. That itself is a huge signal that BJP today knows that forget about 400 par, 200 par bhi the BJP के लिए बहुत मुश्किल हो रहा है. So that is the issue here because there is a uh, I accept हम लोग circus, everyone goes and enjoys a circus, but there is a time limit to what the circus can give us. After a certain time, you come out of the circus and you know there are reality starts biting. So the BJP's entire narrative in the last 10 years was about the nations and not about India as a nation and nothing about the citizen. It was selling India as a nation, but it was totally ignoring the citizen who is the national of India. Now people have started to understand that this is a huge cost for me to pay. And across India, be it from Karnataka to Uttar Pradesh, everywhere, there is an anti-incumbency against BJP, and BJP is going down. And in fact, there is so much paradox right now, the dichotomy in BJP that the Prime Minister and the BJP are today going hammer and tongs against Muslim reservation. And today, with him, along with him, shoulder to shoulder, is standing his NDA ally, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, who yesterday itself said that if he comes to power, he will be giving 4% reservation to Muslims. So BJP is in such a tricky situation right now that even an ally like Chandrababu Naidu, who has essentially openly revolted against the BJP's narrative, BJP is forced even to take to stand on his shoulders. That itself is a huge giveaway that BJP is losing this election. BJP is nowhere near 400. Forget about 400, even 200 coming is difficult. I think essentially what is happening right now is that the tail is wagging this huge elephant called the BJP. BJP is not wagging the tail is wagging the BJP. everyone knows, an Indian voter, even if he comes from a hinterland in Uttar Pradesh, knows that if you elect a clown, then obviously you will have to endure a circus. So if you have you have elected a clown, then you are going to endure a circus. I think that saturation level has reached, and one of the reasons, and I'll come back to my opening statement, that why the BJP ecosystem wants to short circuit the entire process called democracy and directly jump into getting power, is simply because the Indian system today, a voter is just a spectator in the entire political process. He is nowhere a participant. For 5 years, once he votes, that voter is just a spectator. He has absolutely no participation in the government. So he is in a perennial 24/7 criticism mode about whichever government is in power, because he has no stakes in any government. Just by the time he puts his ballot in the ballot box or presses the EVM button, his role is over. For the next 5 years, he's just a spectator and not a participant. So I think India will have to understand that whichever government comes in power in the future, unless you make 140 crore people of India participants and stakeholders, they will be forever be getting angry at not being participants and criticizing the entire system as being very chaotic. And once you create a chaotic system, the natural urge for anyone is to somehow get a disciplinarian and bring back order. And that is what BJP is doing. I think more than the BJP ecosystem, I think the liberal ecosystem has to understand that unless we start taking participation from the people in general in governance issues across the board for all the 5 years, if you don't do that, people will see politics as very chaotic, and they will start uh, they, they, they they will start thirsting for some kind of disciplinarian who at least comes and clears the chaos. I think I've made my point.
So, Shaira, towards the end, if I may ask you, so what does the Varanasi election look like, and what is the kind of message which Prime Minister Narendra Modi is sending through this election? Because many people say that there would be a time when Varanasi would reach a saturation point, but at least not. It doesn't look like that. It's reaching a saturation point in 2024, because Prime Minister still remains very powerful. He remains uncontested. In fact, he doesn't want any challenge, as is very visible in Varanasi.
Yeah. It's very visible. He doesn't want a challenge. And if he could have had his way, it would have been like on the lines of Surat. But there are still people in the field. But today, another thing is that if you've seen an interview he's given to a leading channel, he is in damage control mode. He has completely denied that he spoke anything against Muslims. And what he said about Ghuspaithia and what was the other point he said? Having more than people having a lot of children. He said this, I never mentioned the word Muslims. This was a general statement against the poor, because poor people have more children. So the manner in which he completely denied what he had said shows that he's in a kind of a damage control mode, and he's trying to make his politics a little more inclusive. I don't know how many people are going to believe it, but today he blatantly denied that he ever meant to say all those things. So that also, and that he said soon after his nomination. So there's a message in it for the, which comes out he chooses a day to make this kind of statement.
Right. So we'll have to wait and watch how this entire campaign unfolds. But it's very clear that Prime Minister doesn't want a challenge at all in Varanasi. And what Atul pointed out, that maybe BJP has set a target of a record margin victory for Modi. And probably that is the reason why people like Shyam Rangeela have been disallowed from filing the nomination. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Atul Chandra, Shaira, Naeem. Siddharth, it was wonderful having
Thank
you on the
you.
program. One appeal
Thank
to the
you.
viewers who are watching this discussion, subscribe to our channel, send us your feedback, and stay tuned to The Federal. Thank you.